He is the money man. He is being targeted by a couple of groups in terms of this fight over pensions, and he is one of a slew of candidates trying to take on the 2nd District Supervisorial seat. He is our next guest, Mr. Zack Scrivener. How are you, Zack?
I'm doing well, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Where are you, sir?
Well, I just had a meeting over at the Kern Economic Development Corporation talking about jobs.
Yeah. Let me get your thoughts. I won't start typically because we've had you on so often, but what's your take on this new wave of neophytes? I mean neophytes. Folks that have never run for hall monitor, running for offices as high as the governor of the state to city council. Is this a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion?
I think it depends on the office. I was listening to your conversation about BIDAC with the other caller, and I think that when you're looking at a position such as the Board of Supervisors seat that I'm running for, which is largely a managerial position, you're managing a bureaucracy, and you have department heads that report to you. I think that experience is very important there. But if you're looking at a position like state assembly or like even like Congress, I think what we need are people that that have created jobs, that are in industry, that understand what the regulatory burden in California and in the United States is doing to suppress our businesses, to suppress their ability to be dynamic and grow. I think Shannon Grove is a great example of a business person that we could use up in Sacramento to say, no, we can't do this because here will be the result. Employers will have to lay people off, businesses will leave. And so I think that you need to have I think our forefathers envisioned people from a lot of different backgrounds that are going to be in government, so they could feed off of each other's experience. Yeah. But I think right now I'd like to see some business people in positions in Sacramento and Washington.
Before we get to your struggle with the firefighters union and others who have targeted you for your stance on pensions, let's start with our proverbial question: why the Sam Hill are you running for 2nd District Supervisor?
Ralph, I love Kern County. I've lived here for 30 years. I'm 36, virtually all my life. Well, actually more than I guess, 31 years. And I'm a father. I have 2 small boys. One is 3. One is 1. I am very, very concerned about this heap of debt that the county and the city of Bakersfield, for that matter, is racking up when it comes to these retirement costs. I'm worried about the effect that that's going to have on our ability to provide basic services. I'm concerned about the economy and the job climate, obviously, and I'd like to do what I can to advocate for some substantial reforms on the state level. But right now I see the county as the best opportunity for me to enact change. I think it's very difficult as a Republican going up to Sacramento to try and enact meaningful change. I've been on the city council, and I see what you can do when you're one of 7 people on a board. I think that being one of 5 people on a board over at the county is an even greater opportunity to move policy. You
have been quite noticeable in the media lately. Lois, one of our contributors, wrote a column regarding you being targeted by firefighters unions and peace officers. Why are prosecutors after you?
Actually, it's funny you say that, because I was having a conversation with somebody, and I heard a rumor that the prosecutors actually are not involved in this, that they are not very happy that they have been included in the list of unions that are participating. I don't know that for a fact, but it's not like them to employ these type of tactics. It is very much like the firefighter unions to do so, to do campaigns. I mean, I don't know if you remember in 2006 when the city firefighter union, they actually put an ad in the Bakersfield Californian seeking a candidate, like it was like a want ad, seeking a candidate to run against me for city council in 2006, which I had to save that and keep that, because I think that was the first time that's ever been done.
Zack Scrivener is our guest, current city council member and trying to get on the Board of Supervisors out of the 2nd District. This thing really has a face for me now. It really does, on both sides, because it is a two-edged sword. It really, really is. Clearly, something has to be done. And the 2 faces I have are David Wilson and Marty Williamson. Classic examples. Marty retires early. To know Marty is to love Marty.
He's a great guy.
Great guy. I've known Marty for 15 years. I knew him when he was out in Wasco. Great guy. He's retiring early. Going to get, 95% of his pay?
Yeah, it was.
And going on and taking another lucrative gig at Cal State to head the police force and, collecting bongs and getting those serious criminals out there at Cal State. I'm happy for him. It's a great gig. It's a cushy gig. It's a great gig. But something's got to be done here. That's insane. He's going to get 90% of a very lucrative county salary and then go get another salary from the state and double dip. But having said all that and gotten angry about it, then I meet a young prosecutor from Seattle. And one of the reasons that he's completely uplifted his entire family and come to Bakersfield, because clearly we can't compete with Seattle or Provo, Utah or Salt Lake in terms of salary, but we can sweeten the pot with these pensions. And I talked to this 29, 30-year-old cat, and he says, the reason that I came here was because of these lucrative pensions. We hope to retire here. He's 30 years old. He expects to spend the next 20 years. I mean, what do? We got to do something.
Well,
the idea that this cat's going to retire at 20 years, he's 30 years old, retire at 20 years, get 95% of his pay is ridiculous. But what do we do when we make promises to these people and we use these pension plans as kind of a carrot to bring in new talent?
Well, Ralph, you basically are hitting on sort of an old adage in government, which was, we can't compete on the pay side, and so we're going to give you security, we're going to give you an enhanced retirement package, and we're going to give you an enhanced health care benefit. But things have changed, and you've actually seen a shift where now you're seeing pay increase in the public sector, where you're actually making more for comparable jobs in the public sector than you even did in the private sector for some positions. But the whole dynamic has changed as far as life expectancy, just like it has for Social Security. When you had Social Security enacted, people were expecting 62 was the retirement age, and the life expectancy was 63. So you figured, okay, well, you're gonna pay in, but people aren't going to live very long once they're getting a benefit. And then you've had other entitlements that have been piled on. And so with this pension system, when the life expectancy now is in the 80s and people are retiring at 50, you know that you are going to be paying people in retirement maybe very, very possibly longer than they actually worked for you.
Yeah. And
that can't continue on. And also, 60% of the folks at the county don't pay into their own retirement at all. That has to change as well. It's a two-pronged approach that I've been advocating for, which is, look, lower the benefit for new hires. The promises you made to the people before, you're going to have to keep, you should keep, because a deal is a deal. But there's contract law that protects anyone's pension that currently works for these government entities. So you can only change it for the new hires. That has to be done. And look, we just increased these. When I say we, I wasn't there, but elected officials just increased these benefits by 50% retroactively in 2001, 2002. And so it wasn't like, this has been the case for a long, long time. But the damage that's been done over that less than a decade period of time has been tremendous, and it's absolutely reducing our ability to provide basic services. At the county of Kern, this budget crisis is not due to the decline in the economy. They're projecting a 1.5% increase in revenue. What it is a $40 million increase in this next fiscal year in pension costs and a $90 million increase between now and 2013. $45.27 is going to go to retirement for every $100 in payroll. It's unsustainable.
We'll take a quick time out. Zack Scrivener is our guest, city council member, trying to become a member of the Board of Supervisors, representing the 2nd District. We'll take a short time out, come back, talk more with Zack all the way to the bottom of the hour, at which time I will finally get to the letter from the alleged thief who stole the Mojave Cross. We'll talk about that. But in the meantime, feel free to jump in here if you've got questions or comments for Zack. 399-1560, 800-248-1560. When we come back, we'll talk more about the pension plan. Do we really want 55-year-old firefighters? We'll talk about it when we come back. From our city council, a candidate for the 2nd District Supervisor's seat, and one of the participants in the debate that will be aired on KGET. Have you already done the debate and they're broadcasting it this weekend?
Right, it was last night.
Oh, it was last night. How'd it go, in your opinion?
I think it went well. I think that Jim